Contradico gallery, not Louvre. Cybersecurity. Your new hobby. Risk assessment. Running a risk assessment on your business's cybersecurity should be a routine process, no matter how big you are or what businesses you are in. Security incidents can happen to any business, especially small businesses, either because hackers believe they are an easy target or they're trying to breach a larger company by going through their small partners. While self-assessment and monitoring should be a continuous process, a comprehensive risk assessment should be conducted at least once every 2 years.
Where to begin? In an ideal world, risk management should always start with two key components being defined and agreed at the most senior level in your organization. Risk appetite. This is an articulation of the amount of risk you are willing to accept to meet strategic objectives. Each cyber threat should be considered and then a statement constructed that represents how much appetite you have for each. Incorporating factors such as time horizon at a given confidence level. In most organizations, risk appetite is at least agreed, if not defined at board level. In large organizations, a tiered risk appetite approach is adopted where more granular risk appetites exist to accommodate the different layers, with sit under the umbrella of the board's risk appetite. Talking personally for a minute, tone from the top is crucial. It effectively sets the scene for the whole organization, and if positioned counter to the risk approach will always supersede it. Wells Fargo is a great case in point. Their public statements stressed always putting the needs of their customers right and the importance of ethics, but in practice, the business operated in a quite different way behind the scenes. A Ponzi systems, employee review, no job security, no work-life balance. This is a company of more number of HR resources than the people actually work for company revenue. A PAM Systems continues its expansion, but investors lose confidence. Your people are your most important asset. They determine the customer experience. If it's good, you win. If it's poor, you lose. It's really that simple. Software solutions for your business. Trust, not just software. Definitions of risk, impact, and probability. Having defined your risk appetite, you should now define your organization's approach to scoring impact and probability. For impact, consider what outcomes arise from each risk being realized. For instance, are they purely financial? What extent of operational disruption matters? Can people be harmed physically or in other ways? With cyber risks, you should always consider confidentiality, integrity, and availability. For probability, some organizations choose a highly quantitative approach. In the example below, we use extremely remote, possible, likely. Generally, this is our go-to scale because we believe that any inherent risk will materialize if you wait long enough. With both of these definitions, it's important to start simple. It's no good having a super sophisticated risk management approach that only a tiny number of people in the organization understand. Also, we always try and relate these definitions back to an organization's actual cyber risk, loss experience, or those of similar organizations, making the exercise more practical than theoretical. So now on to the actual risks. Identify your risks. The initial process of identifying your risks typically takes the form of a brainstorming session where you consider what you're trying to achieve and what cyber-based issues could prevent you. It's important to give each risk a succinct but simple to understand title. Consider how other stakeholders will interpret this, as it will become shorthand for the risk itself on meetings and monitoring activity, and you won't avoid changes it cause of many and sometimes serious misunderstandings. Next, describe the event that prevents you from achieving your team's objectives. In this example, our customers' data is exposed to unauthorized parties, impacting our business objective of safeguarding our customers' data. Capture both the causes, what triggered the event, and the effects, what were the consequences. If you can, identify and assign a risk owner so stakeholders can see who is accountable for oversight of this risk. Next, we need to assess inherent risk for each risk. This is the assessment of a risk's impact and probability before factoring in the control environment. Taking its lead from FFX, our fabricated company has set out in its privacy policy that we have built our reputation on our commitment to deliver reliable information to our customers, both businesses and consumers, and to protect the privacy and confidentiality of personal information about the consumers. Therefore, we will score the impact as catastrophic, given our company's public statements. We assessed the probability as possible, as we have had similar issues happened before. Identify your existing mitigants. Moving on, it's now important to us to identify what existing risk mitigants or controls we already have in the business. In our fabricated example, our company has adopted the UK's National Cyber Security Centre, NCSC, 20 critical controls. Of course, in practice, there would be many other mitigants, such as insurance policies and other lines of support and assistance to also consider. Map the controls and risk. Next, take each risk in turn and begin to map controls from our control environment that mitigate this risk. We also capture key attributes about each control, which will help us assess their fitness for purpose. Assess your residual risk. Having mapped our controls, we now must consider the extent to which the control environment reduces the inherent risk. We capture this as the residual risk. As you can see image, in our example, our current control environment reduces the likelihood of the event occurring but doesn't lessen the impact should be the risk materialize. Make a risk decision. Finally, with our completed risk profile in hand, we can now consider This against the relevant risk appetite statement, and for each risk we can decide whether they need to consider further mitigating actions to meet our overall risk appetite, or whether we are happy to accept them. In the example, having considered the risks for control environment, we have decided that two of the controls were not designed sufficiently for this risk. We'll escalate this to management with a view to obtaining the go-ahead to improve their design. Therefore, our risk decision at this point in time in respect of these residual risks. Control further. So to sum up what we have laid out, here is just an overview of the process.
It's important that you know what you are doing and what you are looking for preparing a risk assessment. Having a glancing knowledge of cybersecurity won't be enough when trying to find vulnerabilities that attackers can exploit. It may offer advantages for you to do your own risk assessment because you know how your network operates and you may have built it.
Security is always going to be a cat and mouse game because there'll be people out there that are hunting for the 0-day award. You have people that don't have configuration management, don't have vulnerability management, don't have patch management,